Nick, what is that on your shirt? Does that make America great?
It's education reform.
He wears that in private.
It's education reform.
No,
nobody's looking. He puts his red hat on.
Gentlemen, you're losing now. What it was when Gordon Hayward came here, he looked at himself as the number 2 option when he first got here.
Yep. I don't. Yes, I agree.
Last couple of years, last year he became your 4th option. That's what really happened. And he did not like his position there. So now he goes to Charlotte, and he can realistically be their first option. He can realistically be their first option in Charlotte. You think about it. Who they had? Melo Ball is a passer, right? So he's going to be setting up Gordon Hayward. Who else do they have there that you think?
Terry Rozier.
Rozier, he's scary.
Terry Rozier really didn't play as bad.
It'll be a decent team.
Devontae Graham was a much better player, and he's a facilitator and he's a passer. So Gordon Hayward goes into a situation where he probably is going to be your featured back.
Until the tinfoil breaks.
Running back. He will be your featured back going there.
Wouldn't that be something, Nick, if he's healthy all next year? Then
That
I'll be
would
saying,
be the
oh,
luck of
come
the
on.
Celtics. But I'm going to tell you something. Seeing him break his hand and his ankle like tinfoil is telling me it ain't going to happen. He will get injured.
And it kills you.
I don't want him to. Don't get me wrong. I don't want him to, but he will.
And it kills you because how does history go different if that night in Cleveland never happened?
How does history go different if Isaiah Thomas never hurt his knee?
Right.
They would have traded him anyway.
Yeah, I don't think the same
anyway, but
upside there.
When you get Kyrie Irving, you're going to get Kyrie Irving.
I agree.
And all these people right now, and yeah, Danny's my friend and teammate. There's some things that I didn't like Danny's done before in his, why he's been. I didn't like when he got rid of Perk. I hated that. Let's look at his body of work of some of the things he has gotten done. He got Tatum. Nobody wanted Brown when he picked Brown. Remember, Marcus Smart wasn't the best pick that everybody thought about. Then when he picked up,
they booed. Yeah, Brown. They booed.
And he got Kyrie Irving to come here, and he got Gordon Hayward to come here, and he got Al Horford to come here. So let's look at his body of work. What he's actually done instead of saying, "Oh, this guy left." Well, Al Horford left for $100 million. Let me tell you, gentlemen, I'd have left for $100 million if they gave it to me.
I want to stay on.
Hold on. No, none of this is wrong, but again, it all comes down to where are the Celtics now? 2 years ago, okay, you've got Kyrie Irving, Gordon Hayward, Al Horford, and these 2 young guys, and still picks and assets. For whatever reasons, beyond your control or within your control, they have now just Hayward and Brown. Okay, let's add Kemba there too. But they have lost Kyrie, they've lost Al, they've lost Hayward. Those draft picks did not turn into the Memphis, the Sacramento, all of these picks. They did not turn into stars or anything right now. We'll see what this kid they got this year is, but that's it. So this was it. 2 years ago, it was, we've got this roster and endless possibility. And now you've got 2 young stars, Kemba Walker and his balky knee, and you're out of draft picks and you have no cap space. The organization is in way worse shape right now.
Another guy you're not talking about either. Is Marcus Smart on this team?
Oh, no, not the Celtics fans.
Is Marcus Smart one of the best defenders that we've seen in a while? This team, the cupboard, let me just tell you guys, the cupboard's not bare. I played during the 1979.
It's not. It's just more bare.
The cupboard was bare. I played 1978, 1977. There was nothing in the cupboard. Now, there was a guy coming, some asshole named Larry Bird. He found who he was, and he was pretty damn good. But, let's not just like, oh my God, we have nothing.
It's not bare.
It's nothing there. John, let me jump in here.
John, what you're saying though is where you were and where you are.
Yes,
if
that's
you have
all
a
I'm
team
saying.
right now that was competing, that you looked at as a team that could win a championship. Right
With
now,
options.
you're looking at a team right now. If they're really good and they maximize, we think that they could possibly get in the Eastern Conference Finals, and
that's a setback,
and that will be a struggle. So
that's
I understand what you're saying. People are disappointed, but you also have to look at what you have right now. You have two dynamic players. You have Marcus, you have Kemba. Now let's find out what Brad's going to do this year. Let's find out if Danny has it. Because right now, you guys are right. And I can see where you're pissed off because of where you were and where you are now. I think that's what I think I hear all of you saying.
Yeah, and we go back to the contract. You couldn't pay Hayward that. You just couldn't. There was a limit here. I was willing to pay him quite a bit, but it wasn't $120 million. You couldn't do that. And,
are you kidding me? I would have quit and not watched the team anymore if they.
So you know what? And here's a dose of optimism. Al Horford leaves, and who steps in? Daniel Tyson has a pretty good year. Could Romeo Langford step in for Gordon Hayward now and have a good year?
I think so.
John,
I've never.
Off your face, John.
I am not. I
would love it. I would love it. I would love it if he could.
But,
okay?
but right now, Romeo Langford has a cast on his leg.
Yep.
So where is he going with that? That's a whole nother thing. Romeo Langford's hurt. And some of the guys I love Brad Wanamaker. Brad Wanamaker's contract. But are you going to bring him back? He was the guy who
maybe now.
I think you should now. Yeah, I think you should now.
If we start trying to make ourselves feel better about Gordon Hayward leaving, and we're mentioning names like Romeo Langford
reality,
and Brad Wanamaker, I'm gonna jump out this window right here.
No, John, guys. This is the most quiet I've been in 10 years. I don't think it is as much Gordon Hayward as it is the reality that Danny got screwed and the cupboard is kind of bare. And we have, in today's NBA, as Max put it, there are no assurances that Jason Tatum is going to stay in Boston. And I think that's what fans are mainly freaking out about. But looking at the chat here, as everybody's saying, fuck F Danny, F this, F that. Again, I just want to reiterate, Isaiah Thomas screamed and kicked his way out the door in Boston because he didn't want to leave. Paul Pierce spent the last 3 years of his career on a marketing campaign for the Celtics while he played for other teams. Al Horford didn't want to leave. He was given an offer he couldn't refuse. So these players that we're talking about, the two players that were disgruntled, Kyrie and Gordon, so long. Goodbye.
It's bad management though. Like
that's
there's terrible. No refuse. There's no. It's bad management.
These are assets. You manage it. Who gave? I can't stand this whole loyalty and he didn't want to be here stuff. It doesn't matter. You manage your assets and you don't let them walk for nothing. That's
if that's the case, John, then he was doing a negotiation and they called his bluff. He held out too long and the Hornets came in and Gordon took the deal. But that's a negotiation and an asset of management. You're not going to pay Gordon $130 million again.
Can I throw this at Max? Because I want to take this back to 2019 when you had all those players, Rozier, Morris, Hayward, Brown. It was just such a packed roster. And you had a chance that year to maybe trade Rozier, maybe trade Hayward. Just condense this a little bit because we all know there were too many players on that team that needed the ball in their hands. I think that's the year that you look back on and say, you should have traded one of those guys.
Yeah, I think that the possibilities were there then because, as you said, and I said that when Brad was coaching, I said it was going to be Brad's toughest year because there were just too many players and not enough minutes out there. And Brad's a nice guy, and he was trying to play this guy. But in the NBA now, you got to reduce your roster to playing maybe around about 8 guys, and that's it. And then other guys get in. Look what happened now. You think about a team like Miami. Miami was a team that only played about 8 guys, and that's it. Charlotte, you look at Boston. Boston tried to play more. So many guys. They tried to play 10 or 11 guys during that particular year, and I think that was a mistake. You just can't play you want to. You see that, but you can't play everybody. So I understand what you guys are saying, and I understand how the fans right now are pissed off. And what I understand you guys saying again is this: where the cupboard was during that time with all the players and the opportunity to win a championship, you guys looked at it that way and saying all that talent you had, you were like, oh my God. When you had Kyrie Irving, when you had that team, you're just like, we're going to win a championship. And you were horrible. You were horrible. Nobody loved. Last year, this team was a couple of baskets away from playing in the championship.
And the year before, Kyrie left, too.
A couple of baskets. So I think you guys are out there on the limb. I understand your anger. I understand your aggression. I understand people even mad right now going with Gordon Hayward. But I'm not mad at Gordon Hayward. Again, Gordon Hayward goes to a team that he's going to be the #1 prospect. He's going to be looked at as the #1 guy in a city like Charlotte. And if he's healthy, Charlotte is going to eat him up.